Hello, and welcome to the second of 3 trainings in this series of videos for parents of children with autism. The title of this video is Home Safety for Parents of Children with Autism. My name is Merissa, and I am currently a graduate student in the school psychology program at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse.
My name is Michaela, and I am currently an undergraduate psychology major at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse.
Before we begin, if you are participating in the 2016 research study, I ask that you pause the video and follow the first link in the email to answer a few questionnaires. Once you have completed those, please return to the video. Welcome back. These videos are being created for parents of children with autism. However, they may be useful to other family members and family friends, teachers, paraprofessionals, community members, and others interested in learning more about autism and how they can support youth with autism. The first training gave information about behavior and using an autism lens to understand your child's needs. After this current training on home safety, the last topic will be on sensory needs. First, we are going to talk about some strategies to help you get organized. Safety is an important matter for any child, but for a child with autism, it can be difficult to achieve. The Organization for Autism Research and Danya International Incorporated collaboratively wrote a book called Life Journey Through Autism, A Guide to Safety. In this book, the authors discuss steps and considerations that can form the basis for any safety plan. We are going to talk about some fundamental items the authors suggest should be included in any proactive safety plan, regardless of the severity of your child's autism diagnosis. First, let's get organized by creating a safety binder. A safety binder is a place to keep important documents like original diagnosis paperwork or school paperwork. In addition to these important papers, a safety plan specific to the family should be included, which might have phone numbers of family members and friends, doctors, and local hospitals. This emergency plan should also include instructions about specific situations that might happen. For example, where is the family going to meet in case of a fire? A safety binder should be kept in a location that is private, but is also easy to access for all family members. Additionally, the safety binder should be shared with a babysitter or other child care providers so they are aware of what to do and who to call if something happens while they are in charge of your child. The next thing we are going to talk about is setting clear protocols for fires and other emergencies. As we discussed in the first video of our 3-video series on autism, children with autism often struggle with changes to their routine. A fire or other home emergency is a very abrupt change, and the way a child reacts could have significant consequences. Planning for such events can mitigate the potential consequences of a situation. This might entail not only discussing where to go or safe places and what to do, but also practicing what that might look like. The purpose of this is not to scare your child, but to ensure he or she knows how to stay safe in an unexpected situation. If your child is one who typically benefits from a visual schedule, you could try using one in order to practice handling an unexpected change in their routine.
Life Journey Through Autism, A Guide to Safety also discusses a way to apply these safety principles through the safety planning cycle. The safety planning cycle has 5 steps: understand, prepare, practice, share, and update. The first step, understand, involves relating the safety principle to your own child's needs. It requires looking at how the principle may differ from situation to situation and what specific factors may be involved. For example, Olivia is an 8-year-old girl who is drawn to the river a short ways from her house. After looking at past incidents, her parents realized that Olivia liked going to the river because the sound of rushing water soothed her, and she was more likely to try and go to it when she was stressed and or experiencing sensory overload. Her parents were able to look at the situation from Olivia's perspective and understand the reasons why she was engaging in the unsafe behavior of going to the river. The second step, prepare, involves figuring out solutions to meet the needs of your child in order to keep him or her safe. It may include teaching skills, employing the help of other people in the child's life, and utilizing the various resources that are available. In the case of Olivia, her parents decided first to talk to the neighbor who lived right next to the river. They informed him of Olivia's situation and asked him to help keep an eye out for her in case she went to the river alone. Her parents then found a white noise app of rushing water that Olivia was able to listen to whenever she felt stressed. In addition, her parents decided to enroll her in a program that taught swimming lessons specifically to children with autism. The third step is about practice. Oftentimes, the solution you came up with in the prepare stage will need to be broken down into smaller steps, which can then be more easily incorporated into the child's routine. So in Olivia's case, her parents taught her how to use the white noise app when she felt overwhelmed, and then afterwards would prompt her to use it when needed. Eventually, Olivia was able to use the white noise app without anyone telling her to. In addition, she went to the bi-weekly swimming lessons and learned how to stay safe around water. The next step is to share what you have learned or practiced with those in your child's life. This can include a variety of people, including teachers, police officers, and the child's doctor, and provides valuable information to assist those in your child's support network. Going back to Olivia's case, the parents shared Olivia's progress with the neighbor who lived by the river. They also informed her teachers, who were able to implement the white noise in their classrooms, and law enforcement personnel, in case she wandered. The final step in the cycle is update. Evaluate what works well for your child and what may need to be changed, and modify your safety plan as needed. For starters, you may want to check your plan every year at tax time in order to see if the contact information is up to date. Maybe the neighbor who agreed to help no longer lives there, and the new neighbor is too elderly to assist.
Keeping your child with autism safe requires a balance between environmental manipulation, such as installing locks on cabinets or windows, and teaching him or her critical skills, like how to properly answer the door. One of the best ways to teach those skills would be to model and role-play the correct way of doing so. In the example of answering the door properly, this might entail asking a friend or neighbor to come ring the doorbell so you are able to model the appropriate behavior. Then, you can role-play with your child answering the door to give them the opportunity to practice the skill. Another way of teaching safety skills is through visuals. The example shown here is a visual of when it is okay to open the door and when it should stay closed. You can create a similar visual for your child by using pictures of family members and safe people to open the door for. You can use this visual to teach your child the appropriate time to answer the door, and particularly what to do when a stranger is at the door. It may help to give your child example scenarios in the form of a social story to do this.
There are a number of things you can do within your home to make it a safe place for your child. In homes with typically developing children, many safety restrictions can be removed as the child gets older. For children with autism, however, the safety measures may need to become a permanent part of the home, albeit with some modifications as the child grows. We will highlight some of the major safety risks present in the home, as well as prevention measures that can be taken. One risk to children with autism is the furniture in the home. Top-heavy or tall pieces of furniture, such as bookshelves, may be easily tipped over by a curious child. These can often be secured with safety straps or brackets. If the child enjoys climbing, it is important to arrange shelving and furniture accordingly. Keep them far enough apart that the child can't use one to climb up onto the other. In addition to being a safety risk, the arrangement of furniture in the home can also help facilitate everyday learning. If the child enjoys engaging in puzzles on the floor, for instance, it may be helpful to arrange the furniture in a U-shape so that there is a clear space in the middle of the room where they can work, without family members needing to step over or around the materials. Or for a child who enjoys crafts, ensure that there is a cleared table set up for them to work on. Another thing to keep in mind is that if your child often tries to avoid unwanted activities by running away, consider arranging the furniture to slow down the child. For instance, Kevin is a picky eater. If he doesn't like what's for dinner, he may try to run out of the kitchen and into his room. In response, his parents rearranged the table and chairs so that the path to the hallway, where his room is blocked. This buys Kevin's parents some time to redirect him back to his chair.
Electrical outlets and appliances can pose a significant danger to any child, especially a child with autism who may be curious about how things work. Electrical outlets should be covered. Appliance wires should be bound and/or concealed so that the child does not attempt to play with them. Labels may be used to indicate appliances that are off limits by marking them with a large red X. Power tools should be securely stored and locked up. If the washer and dryer are in a separate room, try to keep the door closed and possibly locked. Again, labels can be used on the doors to indicate they are off limits through a red X, a stop sign, or another similar symbol.
Chemicals and other hazardous materials, such as cleaning supplies, medications, and sharp objects, should be locked away. Even cleaning supplies and medications that may have child-proof covers should still be securely locked in a cabinet or drawer, preferably out of reach of the child. Oftentimes, the best place to hide chemicals and cleaning products is a place the child shows no interest in, such as a cellar or a laundry room. A child with autism may more easily confuse chemicals with a drink, so it may also be a good idea to put labels on the chemicals, such as a big X. If the child can't understand labels, hiding the chemicals is all the more critical. Sharp objects, such as razors, scissors, and knives, should also be locked away from the child's reach any time they are not being used. As the child gets older, they may be interested in activities that utilize sharp objects, such as crafts or baking. Child-safe scissors and knives with blunted edges may be a safer alternative if necessary. However, the child should be supervised while using them.
For many families, especially those who have children who wander, locks and alarms on doors and windows are especially important. For children with particular sensory needs, such as being able to handle very loud noises, there are a variety of alarms that can be fit to meet their needs while still keeping them safe. When using locks, it is best to use ones that are easy to open by adults, but not by the child. Or, if it is a key lock, keep the key above the door frame in case of an emergency such as a fire. If your child has a tendency to crawl out of their window, consider installing a lock on it. Many hardware stores have specially made window locks. If you have cabinets filled with cleaning products or other potentially hazardous material, there are also plastic safety locks that can be used to secure cabinet doors.
Our final topic will be on wandering and elopement, which occur when a child leaves a supervised, safe place and goes off on their own. We have already discussed a few safety precautions with regards to elopement, such as installing locks and alarms on doors and windows. In addition, fencing your yard, if possible, may also help keep your child safe and prevent them from eloping. It may also be a good idea to consider getting a tracking device for your child, especially if your child has a high tendency to wander and is not able to communicate his contact information effectively. There are a variety of options available, from GPS to radio frequency trackers. Some factors to consider for tracking devices include whether your child will wear it, if it's a bracelet, a necklace, or something similar, if it's waterproof, and the length of the battery life.
Finally, it is important to ensure your child is taught swimming and water safety. Many children with autism have a tendency to wander away from the home, and many are drawn to water. According to the National Autism Association, drowning is among the leading cause of death for children with autism. In 2009, 10, and 11, accidental drowning accounted for 91% of the total U.S. deaths reported in children with an autism spectrum disorder ages 14 and younger subsequent to elopement. Making sure your child knows the basics of how to swim could decrease the likelihood of accidental drowning. Many communities and organizations offer lessons specifically for children with developmental disabilities, such as autism. In addition to lessons, there are things you can talk about with your child in regards to water safety. For example, you can talk about the difference between deep and shallow water and the importance of lifeguards. The first link on this slide will take you to a list of YMCA locations across the country that offer swimming instructions for children with special needs. The second link will take you to a resource put out by the Autism Speaks organization about the importance of water safety and gives tips and tools to use when teaching your child about water safety.
An important way to prevent elopement is to first understand the function or reason for the behavior. In other words, why is your child wandering? Some children have a specific task in mind. For instance, Johnny, the boy from the previous training who loved trains, may wander to the railroad station to watch them. If the child has a specific goal, their wandering behavior may be able to be reduced by finding other ways to help them accomplish that goal. So, Johnny's parents could take him to the train station or watch train videos routinely in order to help satiate his desire for watching trains. Other children may wander because they are curious, or simply as a means to escape. In each instance, behavior plans can be used to teach alternative strategies of exploration or coping. Knowing the reason for the behavior may also aid in locating the child if he or she does wander. In addition to understanding the child's reason for their wandering, it is also important that neighbors and law enforcement are aware of the child's tendency to wander. Making a handout to give to neighbors that includes the child's home contact information, picture, verbal ability, and ways of communication can be extremely beneficial. It enables the neighbors to be more aware of the child and may help to stop them from leaving the neighborhood. An example of this handout can be seen in the first link on the resources slide.
The links shown on this slide will take you to various resources you can use on your own to continue learning about home safety. If you would like to hear more about some of the ideas shared in this training, please feel free to enjoy this additional 5-minute video. Thank you and stay safe.
Parents of children with autism often have concerns about all kinds of safety issues. You can be as prepared as possible in case an emergency situation arises, as well as implementing everyday safety precautions. One mother puts it this way: "My child with autism has an inherent need for speed, danger, and chaos. Sometimes it seems like a full-time job just keeping us all safe." Parents of children who wander often contact law enforcement, fire, and ambulance agencies, ask local 911 call centers to red flag information about the individual with autism in the database so that dispatchers can alert first responders before they arrive. Introduce the person with autism around the neighborhood and community so that they are recognized and people can meet them and are educated about what they might encounter. Give them your contact information and ask them to contact you if they see anything out of the ordinary. Explain that if they see the child wandering alone, they should call you, or they shouldn't be alarmed if he's trying to get inside your house. They should keep the door locked and give you a call. My son loves to get into the neighbor's house and rearrange their video collection. He likes to put lotions under the pillow and eat a few chips. Then he's ready to come home again. I have to remind my neighbors to lock their doors so I don't have to run over there and retrieve him. My neighbors have been so good to let me know when they see my son outside alone. They know that he's not safe all by himself. I see them wait until I have gone outside. I have to give a lot of treats to my neighbors because they help me so much. Special window and door locks are a lifesaver, literally. Some parents have installed locks turned around to the inside, so you must have a key to get out. Installed screen doors on bedrooms so they can see in, but the child cannot get out. Generally, with kids with autism, do not get abstract ideas like only cross the street when there are no cars. It has to be more tangible, black and white. It helps to have a tangible reinforcer or training aid. When your son can cross the street by himself, he carries a green cloth. When he needs to stop, he gets to hold the red cloth. We use that for other things as well, like getting out of the car. He can't get out until I've walked around and given him the green cloth. That way I don't have to risk him bashing in the car next to us and running across the busy parking lot. Practice stop and go everywhere you are, especially when it's on his terms and you are not busy trying to shop or do something else. We've put a piece of tape down the console in the car so that he knows he cannot cross that line and touch the key or steering wheel while we are driving. We've purchased a locking device for the seat belt so that he can't get out of the car without assistance because he's always trying to get in the front seat or open the door on the freeway. Keep essential information about the person with autism in your home, car, wallet, or purse in case there's an emergency situation. This information can be given to babysitters, family members, neighbors, or teachers and can be presented to police or paramedics in an emergency. They should have information about medicines, sensory issues, likes and dislikes, emergency contacts, and a description about limitations. Remember, this too shall pass. Many of our kids with autism display unsafe behaviors that diminish or stop in time with practice and age. Get everyone that works with your child to participate in strategies to stop unsafe behaviors.
My daughter, just like any typical 8-year-old, loves to get into everything. So because I'm a single parent and I can't put everything away, what I do is I plant something in front of the thing that I don't want her to get into, like a jewelry box. I'll put some bubbles in front of it or a necklace so that gives me the time to get to her before she's able to get to the object that I don't want her to get to.
One thing we have found that we need to do a number of different things to keep the children out of areas of the house, like the kitchen, so they can't tear things up in there, because we do have 2 little ones that like to destroy quite a bit. But the area to block the kitchen is just too large for some of the baby gates and things like that that a lot of people have available easily. And so what we did is we got a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and we actually slide it back and forth. We have 2 little brackets that hold it against the wall. So that's what we use to get the kitchen blocked off. We also use those really high latch locks on all the doors, like closets, so they can't get into the closets and take things out of there as well. And we lock every door either with a lock or a hook. And one thing we've done also for the children's bedroom, where we have 2 of our children who need it the most, is I actually cut a door in half and made a Dutch door out of it. So the bottom can be closed, they can stay in there, but we can open the top and see that they're okay.